This week on The Splash, students leave a legacy. Then we enjoy some fantastic food with good friends. And later, pieces of West Bloomfield. The Splash is the production of Civic Center TV. We're a news magazine that covers everything from local news to feature stories, all so that we can bring you the latest from the greater West Bloomfield area. And now, let's dive into The Splash.
Welcome to The Splash. I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you for being with us. In an effort to improve long-lasting reading habits in the community, Roosevelt Elementary designed a project that will bring books to anyone at any time. Jay Kustash brings us the story.
I'm here at Roosevelt Elementary, where students and staff are unveiling their brand new lending library.
So a lending library is a library that the school is going to provide to the community where students can come out and pick up books throughout the summer. So one of the things that we want to promote here at Roosevelt is getting books in the hands of kids within our community, and students will have access to books 24/7 anytime they pull up in front of the school.
This lending library was put together by a variety of people, but the students and Kego Harbor Optimist Club took the lead on this legacy project.
You know, members of the community was here, there was city council here, city manager, school board members, teachers, and we had kids. So it was a wide variety of people came to help. And then all the support with the people I got on Facebook. Oh, if you need any money, if you need something, let me know.
So this is actually our first annual legacy project for Roosevelt Elementary. Our fifth grade students, starting this year and moving forward, each year they're going to select a legacy that they want to leave behind. So knowing that we want to promote reading within our school and knowing that we want to get books out into the community, our students voted this year on picking a lending library. They went through the design process. As a STEAM school, we promote design and engineering, so they went through the design process, constructed and built the lending library as the way that they can be remembered as they move on to middle school.
I like the idea of a legacy project. I helped build my high school sign, and it's been 40 years. I still go by one with a grin on my face. So I sort of want those kids to have that same experience.
Roosevelt is the only elementary school to provide a shop and skilled trades class, and their lending library is a direct result of it.
We have a STEAM project-based learning curriculum that we use at Roosevelt Elementary, and we have what's called a maker space. So we have a shop within our school that was donated by Lowe's, and some volunteers through Kego Optimists and Lowe's that come in, and they work on project-based learning with students all the way from kindergarten to fifth grade. So they will come in and talk with teachers, find out what curriculum the students are learning at that point, and then they'll get to go into the shop and actually build things. So they've built birdhouses, they've built planters, they built the lending library, just trying to provide students with authentic learning opportunities so that they can take those skills into the classroom and out into real life when they end up moving to middle school, high school, and beyond that.
The focus on reading was not forgotten when constructing the library, and those involved wanted to make sure that these books would benefit both the school children and the community.
Always the better readers are accelerating, and if they don't get it, they can't go on. They stop right there when they get stuck. They stop and they don't listen the next half hour because they're stuck.
This lending library will be available to anybody that pulls up in front of Roosevelt and wants to borrow a book. And it's really on the honor system. The goal is that if you take a book and you read it, you're either going to bring a book to replace, and you leave a book, you take a book, or when you're done reading it, you bring the book back. Really just trying to reach out to the Kego community and the West Bloomfield community to bring the love of reading here to Roosevelt and out into the homes. I'm very proud of the work that was put in by the teachers this year, by the students, and we're very excited next year to start right back at the drawing board to decide what next year's fifth graders want to leave as their lasting legacy here at Roosevelt.
You know, I'm totally exhausted, but this made it worth it. You know, and I want to thank for the community, for everybody coming out here and helping, and all the nice, kind words on Facebook. Thank you.
The lending library will provide books and knowledge to the community for many years to come, all thanks to the Optimist Club and, of course, the students. Reporting for The Splash, I'm Jay Kustash.
For more information, you can visit civiccentertv.com/lendinglibrary. The food truck frenzy continues all summer long thanks to WB Parks, and reporter Erica Jones serves us up the story.
It's Food Truck Tuesday here in West Bloomfield. Have you ever thought about opening your own food truck? Here's what it takes. The featured cuisine at the most recent Food Truck Tuesdays in West Bloomfield was prepared by Alex Puckett on his You Eat Yet Fat Body Food Wagon.
My degree's in hotel and restaurant management. I've managed a lot of restaurants and hotels throughout college. I had a internship down in Florida at Boca Raton. I worked at the Boca Resort down there, and so I worked with a lot of nice, good chefs and good restaurants down there. And then also in the summers, I worked on Mackinac Island at the Carriage House Restaurant and at the Iroquois Hotel. So I just wanted to venture off on my own, and what better way than to start a food truck?
Alex's food truck features an eclectic menu. However, one item always seems to steal the show.
Our Cuban sandwich is number one. It won Sandwich of the Year last year. Won us a lot of awards, so that's our main thing. The pork is made differently than any other Cuban sandwiches you've ever had. So that's probably the secret, is inside the pork. But everything else, I can tell you, it's 16 hours slow roasted pulled pork, honey ham, honey Dijon mustard, pickles, mayo, Swiss cheese, and it's pressed in our own kind of a bread, hot on the flat top, so it comes out like a panini, and it's super good.
And the Cuban was, of course, a huge hit with the patrons of West Bloomfield.
I've never had a Cuban sandwich in my life, so he told me that this is the best one and that I'm going to really enjoy it, and he was absolutely right.
It's so authentic. I really like it. I mean, it's just like right off of the grill. It's wonderful.
And while preparing a great sandwich like the Cuban brings a lot of joy, what goes unnoticed by most is the hard work it really takes to own and run a food truck.
It's super challenging, especially like days like today. We have a double event today. Like we have here, and then right from here we got to go to Corona for a food truck throwdown, and just gauging the right amount of food to have, the right amount of employees. That's super challenging, as well as getting ready for the rest of the weekend. Like we have the world's largest food truck rally this weekend, and that's going to be super busy. So gauging, okay, do they have enough rest? Because like I said, we have 2 days off this month. So it's super challenging getting all the employees set and the food set and just what specials we're running, where, and just it's pretty challenging. But we love it. I enjoy kind of having a team, and it feels really good being able to support the community and have people working for us, you know what I mean? Like we're contributing to society. So that's really rewarding. And also when people love your food, it makes you feel really good because it's your own, and it's a big reward.
It's a lot of hard work to run your own food truck business, but the joy you see in the customers' faces makes it all worthwhile. Reporting for The Splash, I'm Erica Jones.
You can find more information at our website at civiccentertv.com/foodtrucktuesdays 2019. Coming up, we take an inside look at a special shop inside the public library.
Don't go away. You're watching The Splash on Civic Center TV. And now, back to The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Welcome back to The Splash. I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you for being with us. West Bloomfield's public library has many great books, services, and classes to offer. But Ryan Younglove is here to show us a behind-the-scenes look at their volunteer-run Friend Shop.
Here in the West Bloomfield Township Public Library is the Friend Shop, where local volunteers dedicate time to help the community.
We moved to West Bloomfield in 2000 and joined the library pretty much immediately. But we became friends of the library, joined the Friends of the Library in about 2003, so that's about 15 years ago. The Friends of the Library are here basically to support the library. We continue their mission of outreach to the community and that sort of stuff. So the main thing we do is, of course, we sell used books. People very generously donate books to the library. hardcover books, sometimes even recent books, and they bring them to the library, bring them to these bins that are located outside, and the Friends of the Library collect those books. We sort them, price them, and then sell them. As you can see here, right around here, we can sell books here and also in book sales. And the money that we generate from that then goes back to the library to support things that are outside of their normal budget.
The Friend Shop has been around for many years and brings joy to all that are involved.
The good part is indeed helping the people at the book sales and getting involved here in the bookstore, coming up with books that we also have a request system where people can request books, and I get involved in that, where the people have a specific book they want, and they fill out a request sheet, and then I look to see if we get it. Of course, it has to be donated before we can pass it along to someone else, but that's kind of a rewarding thing to actually find a book that somebody's been looking for a class or for some particular activity, and that's kind of fun. And the people are the best part of actually dealing with the Friends. The other Friends members are all, of course, they're all also interested in books and libraries and reading and how important reading is, and reading is fundamental, as they say. So that's also the important part of it, I think. Yep.
As one of the biggest Friend Shop groups in the state, they hope to continue helping the community here in the greater West Bloomfield. This has been Ryan Younglove reporting for The Splash.
To learn more on this story, you can visit civiccentertv.com/friendshop. And now it's time for Sidewalk Talk, where reporter Patrick McElmurray asks the people of Greater West Bloomfield a very interesting question.
The biggest accomplishment I've had in my life is having the same job for about 10 years. What's the biggest accomplishment you've had in your life?
Graduating for sure, and then going to college right now, I'd say, and having my own car payment and all that is probably my biggest accomplishment so far.
Get it, man.
Thank you.
Having a child, I guess, but everybody can do that. But I think mine's special, like everybody thinks they're special.
That's the biggest accomplishment, big accomplishment.
Oh, and the fact that I overcame polio and I learned to walk.
Okay, well, that's a big accomplishment. So, amen to that.
I think I was in grade school for 6 or 7 years. And then they finally told me I was going to graduate when they taught me a word.
What word was that?
Duh.
Becoming a mom. Yeah.
And soon to be number 2.
Yep. 2 babies.
I think to follow God's call to be a priest. And this coming Wednesday will be my 20th anniversary as a priest. And I wouldn't exchange that for anything else in my life. I want to be faithful, I want to be good, despite of my weaknesses, but I try to focus on what I do and to serve the people of God.
Amen, that's a beautiful thing. And what's your biggest accomplishment in your life?
My biggest accomplishment, aside from my children, would probably be my business. I started a business from ground zero, and it's built up to being able to, pay all my bills and make more than I used to make as a Pfizer pharmaceutical rep. So,
I've got 2 beautiful daughters and 4 grandsons.
It takes some patience and determination.
Yes, it does. It certainly does.
My biggest accomplishment is that I'm a figure skating coach, and I teach young girls, and that I change something in their life. That's my biggest, and my children, of course, right? I have 2 boys, so that's my biggest accomplishment.
My biggest accomplishment in life, I was on, I don't want to say the name because it hasn't come out yet. There's this new show coming out with the cast from Ghost Hunters that we just filmed episode 2, last week. So that should be exciting. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Hopefully it goes well.
Thank you.
For Civic Center TV in West Bloomfield, I'm Patrick McElmurray, and this was Sidewalk Talk.
For more episodes of Sidewalk Talk on demand, visit civiccentertv.com/sidewalk talk. And now it's time for the Civic Center TV event update. We provide you with upcoming events around Greater West Bloomfield. And for more events coming up, you can visit civiccentertv.com/events. Come to Henry's Market on Main. This market hosts a variety of fresh, locally grown produce, as well as baked goods, herbs, salsa, pesto, and many other delicious products, including free samples. Learn from expert chefs how to prepare a meal with the ingredients grown from Henry Ford's very own greenhouse. The market is open Wednesdays from 9 to 5 and is free and open to the public. For more information, go to henryford.com. Visit the library with your child for Books and Babies, happening every Friday from 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Bring in your child for a chance to stimulate their brain development through various fun activities, including dancing, rhymes, puppets, and of course, books. Recommended age from birth to 12 months. Walking. Cost is free, and to register, contact WB Youth at wblib.org. Dispose of prescription drugs with Operation Medicine Cabinet, happening year-round at West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, and Orchard Lake, and takes place at the police departments of the 3 communities. Disposing of drugs is completely anonymous. Open 24/7 at West Bloomfield, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Kego Harbor, and Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Orchard Lake. For more information, visit oakgov.com or call your local police. West Bloomfield Parks is hosting ITC Walks. This walking program is free and here to provide a valuable and healthy activity for the community. The walks range from 1.5 to 3.5 miles in distance. After each walk, WB Parks will be holding drawings for a variety of prizes and also put your name into a grand prize drawing, which will give the winner a 4-day stay at the Mackinac Island Grand Hotel. The ITC Walks occur every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. For more information, visit wbparks.org. And that's this week's highlights. You can find more events online at civiccentertv.com/events and see everything going on in the greater West Bloomfield area. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be speaking with Dale Young, Administrative Sergeant of the West Bloomfield Police Department.
Don't go away. You're watching The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Civic Center TV is your home for everything greater West Bloomfield. Here you can tune into community programming such as our weekly news magazine show, The Splash, as well as coverage of local events and meetings in Kego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, and West Bloomfield. You can also watch all of your local programming online anytime at civiccentertv.com. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
And now, back to The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Welcome back. We're joined by Dale Young, Administrative Sergeant of the West Bloomfield Police Department. And thank you, Sergeant, for being with us today. And so you are in charge of what?
So currently I'm assigned to the administration team, and I currently supervise the civilian employees inside the department, which is our records department, our building maintenance crew, the mechanics, and our police service aides.
Okay, so the career of a police officer has kind of evolved over the years, hasn't it?
It has, yes. It has become more complex than it was even when I first started.
And when did you start?
I started as a police cadet in 2004, and then was promoted to police officer in 2006. I was promoted to sergeant in 2015.
And you've been with West Bloomfield the entire time?
I have, yes.
Okay. So tell me how it's evolved through the years.
Sure. Well, technology is changing at a pace that's just blinding. Cell phones were certainly around, but not to the level of the smartphones that we have today. Certainly as a police officer, people are out in the community more and doing more caretaking, especially as things have adapted with mental health and also with more critical incidents, the unfortunate mass shootings that have happened around the country. Those are examples of things that we are trying to stay ahead of and we are constantly training for. And as we do those types of things, we notice that it is certainly an event that is going to take quite a few partners around the community as well as within law enforcement to be able to handle.
So let's go back to the cell phones for just a second.
Sure.
So the smartphone, has that helped or hindered law enforcement?
That's actually been more of a double-edged sword of sorts. And the reason being is because on the one hand, you have the ability to have basically a personalized computer in the palm of your hand, but it has also, unfortunately, aided the criminal element as well because of the fact that the cell phone has been able to aid in things like fraud, as well as other types of crimes. Plus, the security on those phones has been at times very difficult for law enforcement to be able to crack and get the evidence needed for successful prosecution in cases.
Right, and that's been a big deal
Yes.
throughout the years, right?
Yes.
So, okay, so as far as the career of a police officer and the way it's changed, I know that, you know, when a person is interested in a career in law enforcement,
Yes.
Everyone looks at everything, right? Benefits, environment.
Yes.
How has that changed over the years?
Well, certainly in the realm of benefits and retirements, we've seen in law enforcement the migration from a traditional retirement and pension benefits to more of a 401k style retirement. And how that affects law enforcement is that it is, in my opinion, that as time goes on, what we're going to see is that officers will enter law enforcement and they will vest in the 401k style of benefits, and then from there they'll be able to transport that to any other agency that they may want to work at. And they're going to start to look at things like what kind of opportunities do various departments offer, how much time will it take for me to be able to do those types of positions and take advantage of those opportunities. And then we're going to see probably a lot more of lateral transfers from other agencies as well.
So to where you may have an officer who's been with the department for 30 years, that's probably going to be changing.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Just when I first entered law enforcement, I knew that I was going to be with West Bloomfield for 30 years. I planned to have my entire career here. Whereas I believe that other officers that are entering the workforce, they're more of the mindset that because of the transportability of their benefits, that they don't have to think that far ahead, that they can take a look at their career and kind of just be in the moment, enjoy it, but then know that they have other options potentially at other places.
Right.
So.
And maybe even think, well, you know, it's not too exciting here, and don't get that wrong.
Sure.
But, you know, I mean, how many bad guys?
Right.
Right? I mean,
Sure.
I don't know if that's a myth or if people who are policemen love chasing bad guys.
Sure,
Or
yeah.
if they like being at the desk, or, you know, I don't know the
Yes.
balance of that. Yes. But, I mean, there might be a time where they want to go chase the bad guys
Yes.
and then go back to being kind of in a chill environment, right?
Yes, I would agree with that, yes. And so what's nice, though, and something that you just brought up and touched on here, is the fact that now when they're evaluating various departments, they don't have to be so worried that they're going to be not making the right decision. And so they do have an opportunity to kind of plan their career out, and if they would like to be more involved in critical incidents on a more frequent basis, that might be something that might attract them to go to another area. Or sometimes maybe they want to focus in on frauds, as an example here, and maybe that another community may have a problem with that, so then they're going to be thinking more about these long-term, more complex investigations.
So let's talk about the millennials.
Sure.
Because they're a big part of the workforce.
Yes.
And will continue to be.
Absolutely.
But how has that changed policing?
So first, I want to say that, you know, millennials are here. I feel like they are the future of our workforce and law enforcement, and they do bring a lot to the table. An example of that could be that they put a greater emphasis on a work-life balance, whereas maybe generations before in law enforcement might have been more married to the job, and sometimes that can create unintended negative consequences for families and possible marriages, things of that nature. The millennials, on the other hand, want to have more of a separation between law enforcement work and their life.
Big self-care.
Yes,
right?
exactly, yes, self-care, absolutely.
Self-care, and that's important.
Yes.
So with that balance and them bringing the balance to the career of a law enforcement, that really changes the whole mindset.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I feel like they're the generation that grew up being told that if you need help, especially if you need emotional support or if you need counseling, that was okay. So, and how that helps law enforcement is that law enforcement for many years was more of you need to try to handle things on your own, or maybe that was the perception that was out there. And now with the millennials, they're more of, no, if there's an issue, I would like to try to take care of that early before it manifests into something worse.
And that is important.
Yes, definitely.
So let's talk about West Bloomfield.
Sure.
You looking for police officers, or what are you looking for?
So currently we're actually hiring police service aides.
Okay.
And we actually are in the midst of a hiring cycle. But if they go to the West Bloomfield Township Human Resources Department, they can find more information regarding that position.
Okay, so that closes June 30th.
Yes.
And something I did not know, and perhaps I should have known, but the police academy is something that people have to go through on their own.
Yes.
And pay for on their own.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so if they're applying for a job with the West Bloomfield Police, that is something they should have already finished.
Especially for a police officer.
Okay.
Yes. But the nice thing about the police service aide position is that if a police service aide is with us for at least a year, and they would have the opportunity to compete for a police officer position just like the general public would do. If they were able to compete and finish at a high level on that eligibility list, there is a possibility that when they do get hired that the police department would put them through the police academy.
Okay.
And that's a great benefit because, one, you're having that paid for, but also you are starting to collect wages for working with the West Bloomfield Police Department.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you. So, okay, one more thing. You want people to reach out to you guys. If they have an issue, they can follow you on Instagram. Tell me all the ways people can reach out to you.
Absolutely, yes. We definitely want to stay connected to the public, our community members, and how we do that is we have platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Nixle. We also have a community policing officer, Tim Shepard. And we welcome feedback. And that feedback, it's great to hear praise, but it's also great to hear how we can improve, and also if there's any concerns in the community.
Okay, thank you so much. Again, we have been joined by Dale Young, Administrative Sergeant of the West Bloomfield Police Department. And now it's time for our reoccurring segment. And on this week's episode of The Biz, we learn about how to better take care of our pets with Pet Value.
Healthcare is an important issue for most families, but that also includes keeping our smallest family members, our pets, active and vibrant as well. And in this edition of The Biz, we visit Pet Value, a store that caters to keeping our animals as healthy as they can be.
It has become amazingly, increasingly popular, yes. So I think a lot of us feed our pets better than we feed ourselves. And that's anything from grain-free, gluten-free, corn-free, holistic diets, raw food and alternative feeding, frozen food. The pet industry and the pet food industry has changed so much, even in the last 5, 10, 20 years. We all grew up, for the most part, buying food at the grocery store. And we've learned, especially recently, that that food is not going to be the best food for our pets for longevity and living a happy life.
We're all familiar with the term holistic, but what exactly does it mean in terms of a pet's diet?
A holistic diet is really kind of an all-encompassing diet that includes fresh meats, fresh vegetables, fresh grains, and is really a whole and all-inclusive diet to be able to take care of a pet in a holistic way. So that holistic approach and really thinking of it, taking care of not just one specific need in their diet, but the pet as a whole. So you think of the ingredients kind of being something that you would serve to your entire family at a big Thanksgiving dinner.
Food allergies worldwide are on the rise for humans, but pets are not immune to this growing trend.
I think people are becoming more aware of pet allergies and food sensitivities, and really kind of the few things that you can look for in your pet are, one, hot spots. So are they having any skin irritation? Constant ear infections is another great indicator that your pet might have a food sensitivity or an allergy. Licking and chewing at their paws. Anytime you're really noticing obvious discomfort, we can help you find an alternative that might be causing that issue or that sensitivity. And usually the biggest and easiest way to do that is by switching foods.
When pollen, dust mites, mold spores, and other triggers come in contact with a pet's skin, they can also trigger allergies, and bathing is a good remedy for treatment of these symptoms.
But based on dog breed and how long their coat is, how oily their coat is, yes, we love a dog wash, especially for heavier coated breeds, longer hair dogs. So our dog wash is fantastic. You can see behind us, each one of our locations has a hand-painted mural that's specific to the community. We welcome all animals into the dog wash, but we've seen pigs, goats, mini horses, anything that you can bring in. But our dog wash can accommodate up to a giant breed dog. We've had 250, 300-pound Mastiffs in the wash, up to our St. Bernards, and then we've got a smaller tub there in the middle where you can bring in your Chihuahua, and it's easier than doing it in the kitchen sink.
For Civic Center TV, I'm Lawrence Nyland.
For more episodes of The Biz, visit civiccentertv.com/thebiz. And now it's time for our final segment, Person of the Week, where we celebrate the people in the community who are inspiring and providing toward others. And this week's recipient is Tanya Heinig, firefighter and paramedic with the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Having worked for the fire department for about 15 years, Tanya Heinig has been part of a team of dedicated first responders in keeping our community's residents and property safe each and every day. The daughter of a police officer, Tanya grew up around public service and developed a passion for keeping communities safe early in her life. She enjoys her work in West Bloomfield and shows great appreciation for the community's respect for its first responders. Tanya was recently honored by the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield for her service and made an effort to assure that nothing she does with the department is possible without the team around her. The ultimate team player and exemplary first responder, Tanya has worked hard to keep our community safe for many years and hopefully many more to come, which is why she is our Person of the Week. And if you know someone who is making a positive difference, let us know. Send an email to thesplash@civiccentertv.com. We want to congratulate and acknowledge those making a difference in our community, and we appreciate your suggestions. Well, that's it for this week's show. You can watch new episodes Mondays at 5:30 p.m. at Civic Center TV on Comcast 15, AT&T 99, and online in HD at civiccentertv.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Civic Center TV. And for more Metro Detroit news, you can listen to me and Greg Bowman weekdays from 2 to 7 p.m. on WWJ Newsradio 950. For all our friends in Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Hego Harbor, and West Bloomfield, I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you for watching The Splash.